William told me that Scarlett is too busy to cook dinner, and he asked me to have dinner in my house. He said it's the same whether you're cooking dinner for 2 or 4. He also mentioned that it's kind of nice for us to visit him so often after getting married. What's going on? I was shocked. I'm sorry for constantly eating at his parents' house, so I started giving William money, including food expenses, as a way of compensating. Ingredients were going to waste, and honestly, it was a significant expense. William's actions were so outrageous, it left me in shock. Wait, so the money I gave to my husband for food? What's that all about? William's outrageous actions left me in astonishment. It's been a year since I've been dating someone. His name is William, and he works at a certain parts factory. The work at the factory requires patience and concentration, and having worked there for many years, I think William must possess such persevering traits. Recently, we finally started talking about marriage, and considering our ages, I thought it was about time. So, to be honest, I felt relieved. If we're going to get married, of course, I want to get along well with William's family too. However, what concerns me is that William always badmouths his parents, especially his mother. He says things like, "My mother just can't let go of me. She's so overly involved and annoying." Yeah, I understand, but maybe you are just interpreting it that way. There could be another side to it, right? Do you need packed lunches? What about dinner? You should put out the laundry properly. It's deadly irritating. Huh? But aren't those just normal things to ask? I mean, even I get told things by my mother. And my father too, if only he could stand up to my mother. Something like that. He says bad things about his parents. Despite frequently criticizing his parents, William has never actually moved out from his parents' house. Even though he's nearly 30 years old, he continues to live with his parents, all the while complaining about them. I wonder what kind of situation that is. That was the only thing I was concerned about. However, his parents were very kind to me, and I didn't have any particular issues. Eventually, William formally proposed to me, and we got married. Considering how much he complains about his parents, I figured we wouldn't visit his parents' house often. I felt sorry for his parents, but I will continue working, and I thought it would be easier emotionally. However, once we started our married life, it turned out to be completely different from what I had imagined. Hey, Scarlett, let's go have a meal at my parents' house. Huh? Again? This is the 4th time just this week. It's really not fair to your mother. Despite his constant complaints about his parents, he wanted to go to his parents' house 4 or 5 times a week. I don't have a problem with his parents' house, but I'm also working full-time, and it becomes quite difficult when it happens so frequently. But you see, my mom keeps insisting that Scarlett should come over. You know how persistent my mom can be, right? If we don't go, you know she'll say something. Could you just bear with it for my sake? Even if you put it that way. I'm also preparing dinner, you know. Well, we can have tomorrow, right? He may say that, but the next day, he starts talking about going to his parents' house again. The ingredients I buy go to waste, and the dinner I've made goes also waste. Doesn't he ever feel bad that it's a waste not to eat the meals I make? After dinner at his parents' house, William lounges on the sofa, watching TV, obviously full and comfortable. I understand that he wants to be relaxed after a meal, but I want to get home soon and prepare for work the next day. However, he says, "Scarlett, let's take a bath here too." Huh? I didn't bring a change of clothes or anything. Besides, I have work tomorrow, so I need to get home early and rest. Well then, why don't you just spend the night? You can leave for work from here, right? I'm already getting sleepy. It's always like this. The only day he doesn't go to his parents' house is the day he's working overtime, which happens consistently. He works in a factory, so he must be sweating and tired, but on those overtime days, he's strangely in a good mood. Welcome back. How was the day? You must be tired to overwork. Well, yeah, I'm sweating, so I'm going to take a shower. Oh, I see. But you seem to have a happy expression on your face? Yeah, well, you know. Maybe it's that feeling of achievement from putting in a lot of effort. While you're taking a shower, I'll get dinner ready. No, it's fine. I've already done it on my way home. Even on days when he's overworked, he never has dinner at home. And the next day, he'd start talking about going to his parents' house again. Hey, can we stop going to your parents' house anymore? Huh, why? You don't have to care. My mom wants you to come. I don't mean I care about your mom, but... As I got tired of this routine, his mother said to me, I'm sorry, Scarlett. We're living on a pension, so we can't afford to cover the food expenses anymore. I'm really sorry. What? Supporting food expenses? What do you mean? I couldn't hide how surprised I was by his mother's sudden words. I had never brought up the idea of them supporting the food expenses, nor had I even considered it. He said that your job is tough and you can't cook, right? I heard that from William, his mother continued. Nah, that's not really how it is. I wrap up work on time at my company, and I've got all the ingredients ready, so I cook dinner every day. What? Hi's mother seemed surprised too, as if she had been told quite the opposite. Seems like William had spun quite a tale to her. William told me that you have a hard job and can't cook dinner, so he asked if you could at least let us eat at home. He said making dinner for 2 or 4 people is the same anyway. He even said things like, normally, after getting married, sons don't come home that often, but I'm being filial by visiting home so much, my mother-in-law explained. What? What's going on? I felt guilty about how frequently I was having meals at my in-laws' place, so I started giving money to William to cover the food expenses and more. Ingredients were going to waste, and it was honestly a heavy financial burden. The shock was too much to handle. Well, then what about the money I gave to William for food expenses? I asked. What? His mother said she didn't receive that money either. Her expression didn't seem like she was lying. After we exchanged dumbfounded looks, it suddenly hit both of us. I hurriedly woke up the sleeping William on the couch and, together with his mother, confronted him. Hey, William, what's the meaning of this? Were you deceiving your mother and me? I asked. What's up all of a sudden? William, be honest. What are you talking about? At first, he had a smirk on his face, but as he looked back and forth between his mother and me, he seemed to realize the gravity of the situation. He recognized that his lie had been exposed, and his expression turned serious. Well, I mean, it's not like I did anything bad, he finally said. You've had enough. You're wasting the ingredients I bought, and the money I asked you to give to your mother hasn't reached her. Enough with your nonsense. What on earth are you doing? Hey, guys, can't you calm down a bit? You don't have to make such a big deal out of it. Mom and Dad don't have to feel lonely if we come here, and Scarlett doesn't have to cook dinner, right? Also, I can have enjoyable and delicious meals with everyone. There are benefits for everyone, so it's not all bad. What is this man saying? I could feel my anger rising, and I was desperately trying to quell the flush on my face. I knew that arguing properly here wouldn't work because William, drunk on alcohol, wouldn't be able to respond sensibly. Sorry, Lily. I think William won't be able to have a coherent conversation. He is drunk. I'll come back when things have calmed down. Excuse me for today. Scarlett, I'm truly sorry. I'm sorry that my son is acting like this and causing you trouble. His mother looked genuinely sympathetic, but struggling to find comforting words. I left their house that day. Even after returning home, I struggled to contain my boiling anger, and I couldn't have a proper conversation with William. On the next day, William has finished work earlier, and he went to his parents' house again. Already drinking a beer. Seeing that scene, I was flabbergasted and struggled to find words. After staring at William for a few minutes, I finally said, "You're drinking beer without any remorse? Can you stop fooling around? I'm trying to have a serious conversation here." His mother hadn't noticed that William had opened a beer and was simply standing there, dumbfounded. "That's enough. Tell us why you lied and deceived us. What happened to the money I was giving you?" I couldn't hold back any longer and raised my voice involuntarily. "Huh? Why are you so angry? I just saved you the trouble of household chores. Think of it as a housekeeping job that I did. What? In return, you were adding to your mother's burden." Then came the shocking words from William's mouth. "Oh, well, you could just think of Mom as the maid. It's fine if she indulges and takes care of everything. I grew up in my parents' house for almost 30 years. Naturally, it's comfortable there, right? What are you saying? Are you seriously saying that? Are you seriously saying that? Men, you know, are creatures who resist change in their environment. Your meals are too bland and unsatisfying for me. They don't suit my taste, so honestly, I don't want to eat them. Oh, but I'll make sure to have kids, so don't worry about that." What kind of attitude was that? Treating his mother like a maid, and am I just an instrument for producing children? His mother's anger was palpable, and I was struggling to hold back the urge to jump at William in frustration. "I married you because I wanted to create a warm and joyful home with you. Instead of saving you the trouble of housework, I'm not just wasting the ingredients I bought and the meals I carefully made. You are the worst. But isn't it easier when we go to my parents' house? I'm glad that your parents are kind and welcoming. But I've never once thought of your mother as a maid. If you didn't want to change your environment, why did you marry me? Do you really think I'd want to have a child with you under these circumstances? Stop messing around. What about the money I've been giving you for the food expenses and more to your parents' house? There should be around $3,500, right? Well, that's, When questioned about the money, William began to mumble. "William, where did the money go? I've never received that money. Tell us the truth." Well, Under the pressure from me and his mother, William finally confessed. It turned out that William had become obsessed with underground idols. He originally had a love for music, but he stumbled upon performances of underground idols on YouTube and was strongly drawn into their world. He said that he gradually became hooked and started participating in events and buying idol merchandise. He sometimes used the excuse of working overtime when he was actually attending live performances or events. William shamelessly spoke about the enjoyment he found in being part of the underground idol scene. He explained that in that world, pouring as much money as possible into supporting his favorite idol was everything. It seemed like a system where those who spent the most money for their favorite idols gained prominence. His mother and I were dumbfounded and couldn't find words. "But it costs much money, doesn't it?" I asked. "Yeah, because if you don't invest in your favorite idol, they won't be able to continue. And if that happens, I lose my source of enjoyment. So I have to do whatever I can," he replied. I had no idea. William, in order to support his favorite idol, had resorted to borrowing money through cash advances, and the amount was so staggering that it left me speechless. I never want to see your face again. I couldn't bear this situation any longer, so I asked his mother to cover for me and went home, where I ended up falling into bed and sleeping. According to his mother, William remained oddly confident afterward. Are both Scarlett and Mom jealous of me? I mean, I love idols, but I also love both of you equally. Why do you get so emotional about it? Whether you love us or not, that's irrelevant now. His mother apparently just sighed in response. But, you know, both Scarlett and Mom are jealous of the underground idols, right? Well, I apologize for spending so much money on them. But that's just like a territorial dispute in a way. It's like male foolish pride, isn't it? It's not like I love that girl more than both of you, so don't worry. William. That's not the point. Do you even realize what you're doing? What? My heart is always here. In a place like that uncomfortable house, a man loses the will to come back. You don't mean you're talking about me? Of course. Duh. This was a story I later heard from his mother, but it was a statement with 100% destructive power. His mother seemed to have given up on trying to reason with William, who could only think optimistically no matter what she said. Just then, his father, who had been out, returned. When Lily explained everything that had happened, he became extremely furious. What the hell are you doing when Scarlett is right there with you? Do you think she won't get fed up with your nonsense? You're completely delusional. Why are you saying that, Dad? Scarlett loves me, so it's okay. Mom feels the same way. With a carefree and smug smile, William responded, only to receive a cold and stern response from his father. You need to understand that even love has its limits. Both Mom and Scarlett are telling you that they don't need you anymore. Realize that you're disliked by both your wife and your mother. I'm sorry, but I can't comprehend you either, and I won't support you. Even after being scolded by his father, William continued to smile smugly, it seems. That day, he stayed overnight at his parents' house, and the next day, when my work was done, I headed back to his parents' house. Frankly, I wasn't looking forward to it, but I couldn't just leave things unresolved. Oh, Scarlett. Dad tends to be dramatic about things, but what do you think? William greeted me with his usual enthusiastic words upon seeing my face. He glanced around as if trying to read the atmosphere, but no one was smiling. Why? Why? Scarlett, you do love me, right? William's words, oblivious to the mood in the room, didn't even warrant a response from me. Perhaps sensing the palpably different atmosphere, he struggled to find words, realizing that no one was laughing. Then, for the first time, he seemed to realize the gravity of his actions. Scarlett, can you put your seal here? Huh. I handed him a divorce form that I had already filled out. What? You're kidding, right? Divorce, why? I wouldn't hand you a paper like this as a joke or lie. I'm serious. I won't do it. I won't get a divorce. Who would ever put their seal on something like this? William. Just do it. You don't have the right to refuse. That's right, William. Think about what you've done to Scarlett. With encouragement from his parents, William reluctantly signed and stamped the divorce papers. No. I don't want this. I never even thought about getting a divorce. Listen, there's no love that would excuse everything you've done. Lying to people, taking money from them, and even accumulating debts. You're just a despicable man. I no longer want to be with you. As I spoke calmly, William began crying embarrassingly. It was too little, too late for any words to change the situation. Scarlett, I'm so sorry for causing you so much trouble. I genuinely apologize. Forget about us from now on and live your own life. That's right, Scarlett. We want you to live your life for yourself from now on. After I received the divorce papers, I didn't want to see William's face anymore. I left his parents' house without looking back, even though I felt bad for the kindness they had shown me. I heard the rest of the story from his mother over the phone. William, who had completely exhausted his welcome with his parents, was kicked out of their house. To treat your own mother like a servant. What nerve! Get out of here. Mom, you don't understand. I'm sorry. What don't I understand? You're the one who said it, right? You don't have to come to our funeral. Don't ever come back to this house. And even Dad. I swear, I wasn't lying about the underground idols. Please. I can't believe someone who lies as much as you is my son. Get out of this house right now. After moving out of the apartment we shared, William had returned to his parents' house, only to be rejected and turned away at the gate. After becoming buried in debt due to his obsession with supporting underground idols, William managed to find a rundown apartment to live in. He was using almost all of his salary to repay his debts, leaving him in a state of poverty. He had to take on additional night jobs on top of his regular work to make ends meet. It was a situation of his own making, a consequence of his own actions. 2 years had passed since I parted ways with William. During that time, I was fortunate enough to find a new partner and remarried. We were expecting a child soon and living a happy life. One day, I received a call from an unfamiliar number on my phone. When I answered, to my surprise, it was William. Are you doing well? It's me. He had gone as far as changing his number just to call me. I was taken aback. What do you want? I figured you're probably still single, right? I thought you might be feeling lonely. So, for your sake, I'm willing to get married again. How about that? He still speaks and says things that are incomprehensible. Nothing had changed. Despite having declared that my affection for him had run out, he still spoke to me with his condescending attitude, and I couldn't help but feel a surge of laughter. I remarried, you know. Huh? Remarried. I have a child now. Due to my husband's job transfer, we moved far away. Don't you ever call me again? Didn't I tell you that my affection for you has run out? Did you really think I still had feelings for you? Don't play around. I see right through your intentions, trying to help you with your debts. If you call me again, I'll report it to the police. This can't be true. I heard crying on the other end of the line, but I ignored it and hung up. It was nothing new to me. According to information that came my way from friends in the area where he used to live, it seems that William eventually changed jobs. He couldn't make ends meet with his former company's salary, so he switched to a construction company that provided day labor. They said he worked from early morning until late at night in a live-in arrangement. But, honestly, it was a story that had nothing to do with me, and I didn't care. I want nothing more than to make sure the debt is repaid diligently. While feeling grateful to my current husband, I go through each day raising our children. When my husband, who has finished work, hurriedly returns home, he joyfully eats the meal I've prepared and says, "It's delicious once again." I find so much happiness in seeing that smile on his face. From now on, I hope the three of us can continue building a warm and loving household together.